at 7. Ondo Governor's wife, Oluwaseun, urges mobilization in free vaccination push. Residents remember good old days as Ondo government aims to lead in education. Northern governors vow security overhaul amid attacks on northerners. And from the foreign scene, Palestinians endure questioning confiscations amid Rafah's screening nightmare. Good evening and a warm welcome to the news. Kunle Ariyo is my name. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has urged Nigerians to unite their voices and actions in tackling cancer. In a message on World Cancer Day 2026 under the theme, United by Unique, she stressed building a compassionate response by listening to personal stories and prioritizing people-centered care rooted in prevention, early detection, quality treatment, and ongoing support. She noted that every cancer journey is different, expressing hope that collective effort will drive Nigeria toward a cancer-free future. In the meantime, measles, rubella, and malaria vaccine mass immunization campaign has been flagged off in Ondo State, declaring the event open in Akure. Wife of Ondo State Governor Oluwaseun Ayedatiwa enjoyed community leaders of various sectors as well as health workers to step up intensive mobilization activities for the campaign. Omoni Olangbeji has details.
Measles remains one of the leading causes of vaccine-preventable childhood illnesses in society. To address this, the federal government, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, in collaboration with development partners like World Health Organization, UNICEF, and many more, put together this special campaign to secure the country.
I hereby flag off the measles, rubella, and malaria mass campaign in the Sunshine State.
Wife of Ondo State Governor Oluwaseun Ayedatiwa highlighted the importance of immunization, saying the routine exercise is safe and free. According to her, the integration MR and malaria campaign will be conducted for 10 days between 2nd and 11th of February 2026 across all the 18 local government areas and 203 wards in Ondo State, ensuring that no child is left behind.
As we celebrate how far we have come as a state, we must also make deliberate efforts to protect where we are going. And that future lies in the health and well-being of our children. This campaign represents a powerful statement that true development is not only about roads and buildings, but about ensuring healthy children who will carry Ondo State into the next 50 years.
She added that Ondo State government has continuously supported routine immunization and supplemental immunization exercises, making the state rank among the best performing states, not only in the southwestern zone, but in the nation as a whole.
I therefore appeal directly to all parents and caregivers across Ondo State to embrace the integrated MR and measles vaccination campaign and be ready to bring ourselves, children and what to receive the appropriate vaccines they may be eligible for.
Commissioner for Health, represented by his permanent secretary, Dr. Ayodele Adiji, reinstated the commitment of Ondo State government in securing the future of the children.
The malaria vaccine is also available for us to start, and we know that by all grace, at the end of the year, all of us will be happy that our children are here to celebrate us in the 100 years of Ondo State.
Permanent Secretary, Primary Health Care, Ondo State, Francis Akombiemu, highlighted the importance of the vaccine, saying Ondo State government is making decisive actions in eradicating avoidable diseases in the state.
The dream of the governor to provide effective and efficient health delivery to the people of Ondo State is actualized. I thank them for their efforts, and I also want to appreciate all the health workers who have joined us in this journey.
Stakeholders, including representative of World Health Organization and UNICEF, confirmed that Ondo State is the third in the country to benefit from this gesture, calling for maximum cooperation toward achieving a desirable result.
Rubella is equally dangerous and killing our children, as well as this notorious disease which the girls are affected, our pregnant women are affected, and give birth congenitally defected children.
No fewer than 2.3 million children between the ages of 9 months and 14 years are being targeted for the measles rubella vaccine, while over 193 children aged 5 to 21 months will receive the malaria vaccine. Omoniola Ngbeji, Osrc News.
The unusual weather pattern this season is raising concerns amongst farmers and agricultural stakeholders across the country. Traditionally, the Harmattan period supports growth and productivity of certain crops, fruits and vegetables. But with the disappearance of Harmattan in December and January, fears are mounting over possible poor yields. Joy Pius now reports.
For decades, farmers have relied on the Harmattan season as a critical period for cultivating crops such as vegetables, fruits and grains that thrive under cool and dry conditions. But this farming season appears different as the expected Harmattan failed to set in, leaving many farmers uncertain about the outcome of their harvest. Visits to some farms in Akure reveal growing anxiety amongst farmers who say the unusual weather has disrupted planting cycles and exposed crops to increased pest attacks and diseases.
The weather has changed. The ozone layer has been depleted, and we are now having abnormal climate, abnormal rainfall. So that is a challenge on its own to farmers. There are some diseases that affect some crops during this time, actually tomato, pepper, cucumber.
Agricultural experts noted that the prolonged warm conditions have negatively affected crops that depend on cooler temperatures for optimal growth, while also encouraging the spread of pests and plant diseases.
Crop like cashew, it requires Harmattan for fruit setting. If you look at the environment now, we also have been seeing cashew all around, cashew fruit, people eating cashew. But if you find cashew now very scanty, just because the Harmattan of December that's supposed to aid the fruit setting was not there, all the flowers produced were aborted. And that will lead to scarcity of cashew. Outside that, if you look at mango, mango requires Harmattan for fruit set also. Now, there is no Harmattan, we should be expecting a scarcity of mango this year also. Let me say, in this environment, because in the northern part, they had some reasonable level of Harmattan. Okay, outside that, the oil palm requires Harmattans for fruiting. If you look at our oil palms now, those that are supposed to be having up to about 10, 15, 20 bunches, maybe you are just finding 2, 3, or maximum of 5 bunches on there, because Harmattan that's supposed to aid the fruit setting is not there.
Climatologists attribute the situation to changing climatic patterns, with advice to farmers not to panic, but to adjust their farming practices in line with current realities. Experts say while the changing weather poses challenges, proper planning, awareness and support for farmers will help cushion its impact on food production.
The rain we are seeing falling now is not yet good for agriculture. Whenever plants now, we just waste resources. The rain is not yet stable. We must have the knowledge about climate. And how do we do it? We start it from the schools. The geographical garden of those days, where people can measure temperature, they can measure these days, is no longer there. It has to be brought back. Because what you don't know early, you can't begin to force yourself to know it in the future. So those awareness must come back. For us to survive in agriculture, we must engage in irrigation. There is no way. Government must spend on it. They must allocate resources. They must invest in satellite technology. That must be a law. Is that okay? On the part of the government, particularly the Ondo State of Assembly. They must establish climate change agency in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment. In those boards, they will put in agriculture, they put in the Ministry of Works, they put all the necessary agencies that will work together so that we can have a blueprint climate change action plan.
With agriculture a major source of livelihood and food security, stakeholders are calling for increased sensitization and support to help farmers adapt to changing climate conditions. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
We'll take a break now. When we'll come back, we'll give you more stories. Please do stay with us.
Go.
You're welcome back and thanks for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our digital channel Moreplex 720 on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV and on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. Still in the month of Ondo State Golden Jubilee, attention is being drawn to the remarkable journey of the education sector since the creation of the state. Education stakeholders and residents who witnessed the early years recount that teaching and learning was of commendable quality at the time, but access to education was limited for many citizens. To them, this generation is blessed with diverse opportunities to achieve their heart desires. Omoni Olangbeji has details.
Long before the creation of Ondo State, the education sector stood out as one of the key areas that witnessed steady growth and transformation. Residents who were privileged to witness the early years of the state recounted that education at the time was a commendable quality with committed teachers and disciplined learning environments. They, however, noted that many communities lacked adequate skills and educational opportunities.
When the state was created, there was hardly any higher institution, but by the special grace of God, we now have universities, college of nursing, so on and so forth. So by His grace, I think the state is actually moving forward. Education now is not as it used to be in those days. It is now led what you have now. It's an inclusive education where parents, where guardians, where everybody has a role to play as far as education is concerned.
They have what we call an all-inclusive education, not only academics alone, but when you talk of all-inclusive education, we talk of sports, we talk of skills. Skills acquisition when you were in school and all that. That's really impressive that you are having that. That has never been like that in the 60s and 70s and 80s. So it's really commendable that we are having such progress in the educational sector.
Since the creation of the state, successive administrations have pursued policies aimed at expanding access, improving infrastructure, and strengthening manpower development across all levels of education in the state. Chairman, Ondo State Universal Basic Education Board, Victor Olabinton, posited that the interventions have helped to strengthen the education system and encourage higher school enrollment, particularly at the basic education level.
On these schools, and we have over 1,800 primary schools. I'm not talking of private schools. I'm talking in terms of government now. When you add private, you know what that has done to the site of Ondo State. And we must commend the founding fathers of the state. Ondo State will rank as one of the best in Nigeria. And this is due to the quality of our leaders. And every successive leader has tried to keep this pace. And the current governor is not letting anything go. He's keeping it and making sure that things are done and done very well. Because if we educate our citizenry, then we are good for tomorrow.
The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Ibekele Ajibefun, explained that the unrelented efforts of this administration, employment of more qualified teachers, renovation of dilapidated school buildings, and improved monitoring are geared towards ensuring effective teaching and learning across school. Scholarships, bursary, and other financial support from Ondo State government is to ensure that more people have access to quality learning across the country.
There are a lot of schools that were established many years ago, 50 years ago. They have become old and dilapidated, but the government has made and is still making efforts to renovate these buildings, to modernize the facilities, to bring in digital facilities, to bring in computers into the computer laboratories, to bring in things that students need for science and technologies. So Ondo State is making effort in that area. Many schools currently are enjoying modern facilities because government is bringing in modern equipment, modern laboratory equipment, modern digital facilities, improving access through these free shuttle services.
Citizens remain hopeful that continued commitment to education will further position Ondo State as a reference point for academic excellence in the years ahead. Omoniola Humbeji, Osrc News.
Founder of the Ogo Akure Mandate Group, Ayodeji Oluleye, has declared his intention to contest the Akure South and North Federal Constituency seat in the House of Representatives on the platform of the All Progressives Congress (APC). Oluleye made a declaration during a familiarization meeting with supporters, youth leaders, and coordinators of the mandate group, drawn from the 22 wards across the 2 local government areas. Blessing Obe reports.
The familiarization meeting, organized by the Ogo Akure Mandate Group, brought together grassroots supporters to present Ayodeji Oluleye as an aspirant for the House of Representatives seat representing Akure South and North Federal Constituency. Ward coordinators, party leaders, and stakeholders engaged with the aspirant on his vision for effective representation. Ayodeji Oluleye said his decision to seek the office is driven by a desire to provide inclusive, people-centered representation at the National Assembly. He expressed confidence that with the support of the party structure and the people, his aspiration would be realized.
These are my people from Akure North, Akure South, and they are here to welcome me, to also, this is a family meeting. I have just declared my intention officially with them for the Federal House of Representatives position of Akure South and Akure North Federal Constituency in Ondo State. What we have come to tell them is to tell them the new vision that we want to bring into our kingdom, the Akure kingdom. And that is why we say Ogo Akure. We are bringing in bold leadership with the energy of the youth. We are bringing in fresh ideas into leadership.
Leaders and stakeholders from both local government areas commended this initiative, particularly its emphasis on youth empowerment, and pledged to support for his ambition.
He's a very young man and very vibrant, and we should know what he wants to do. He has planned, he has been doing various empowerment to young generation for a long time. With that, we don't doubt his own capability. We know that he can give a very best and deliver in a very right sense.
I want to support him. I see him as a young, vibrant man, vibrant youth. It can represent us well.
As political activities gradually gather momentum ahead of the 2027 general elections, the declaration marks the beginning of consultations and grassroots mobilization within the Akure South and North Federal Constituency. Blessing Obe, Osrc News.
The Senate has rejected a proposal to make electronic transmission of election results from polling units compulsory in the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2026. Joining clause by clause consideration, senators adopted amendment to clause 60 subsection 3, retaining the existing provision that the presiding officer shall transfer the result in a manner as prescribed by the Commission. The rejected amendment mandated real-time upload of the INEC result viewing portal, HiRev. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, however, insisted no rejection occurred, claiming the 2022 Act already allows electronic transmission. He announced a conference committee chaired by Simeon Lalong to harmonize differences with the House of Representatives, which had approved the clause. Other key amendments include reduced INEC's election notice publication from 360 to 180 days, shortened party candidate list submission from 210 to 90 days, cut candidate publication timeline from 150 to 60 days, limited voter ID to PVC and BVAS only, rejecting downloadable cards, trimmed party register access from INEC from 30 to 7 days pre-election. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has expressed concern over the recent attack on the Woro community in Kwara State, where several residents lost their lives. In a statement issued by its National Public Secretary, Ini Emompong, the party called for an independent investigation into the incident, immediate humanitarian support for affected families, the convening of a national security summit, and broader reforms aimed at preventing future occurrences. The PDP urged the presidency to intensify efforts towards fulfilling its constitutional responsibility of protecting lives and property. The party further called on the federal government to adopt a whole-of-society approach in tackling the nation's security challenges to achieve a more sustainable solution. On Wednesday, Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak confirmed that about 75 people were killed during the attack. Addressing residents at the palace of the Emir of Malama, the governor said the victims were local Muslims who were attacked for allegedly resisting extremists promoting an unfamiliar ideology. The Northern Governors Forum, under the chairmanship of Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya and comprising 19 governors from the northern region, called for a decisive security solution to end the relentless targeting of defenseless citizens, including women, children, and the elderly, while commending some governors for their resilience in the face of severe security challenges. Governor Yahaya reassured Nigerians of the forum's commitment to working with all security agencies and local stakeholders to promote intelligence-led community policing and sustainable socio-economic solutions. The forum also expressed condolences to families who lost scores of loved ones, praying for the repose of the souls of innocent individuals killed in cold blood. And straight to the foreign scene, limited number of Palestinians have been allowed to return to Gaza via the Rafah crossing after months of medical treatment abroad, highlighting stringent screening and prolonged delays. Ratana and her mother, bagged after 11 months away, described belongings being confiscated and hours of questioning by Israeli authorities. The report is presented by Blessing Obey.
Rhoda Ruho and her mother were among the few allowed into Gaza after 11 months of seeking medical treatment abroad. Their return was marked by obstacles that underscored how far from normal the journey home had become.
They took everything from us, food, drinks, even our personal belongings, leaving only one bag. My mother was called first, then me. They blindfolded me and questioned me for hours. They asked me why I wanted to enter Gaza. I told them I wanted to see my children, to return home.
Despite ongoing restrictions, humanitarian groups say the reopening of the Rafah crossing offers a fragile margin of hope, an opportunity to reunite families and ease access to urgent medical care. While the gradual reopening of the crossing has raised hope, countless people remain trapped, facing long waits, strict controls, and uncertainty at every step. Blessing Obey, Osrc News.
55 countries across this continent will build a global supply chain network to secure critical minerals for car, smartphones, power grids, and defense, aiming to curb China's dominance. Washington says the market is failing, noting China controls about 70% of raw materials and 90% of processing, underpinned by Belt and Road access in Africa, Latin America, and Asia.
Domestic
of the news tonight, but before we go, we'll take another look at the main point. The wife of Ondo State Governor Oluwaseun Ayedatiwa has launched a vaccination campaign against menses, HPV, and malaria, urging mobilization across the state. In the mood of Ondo State Golden Jubilee, attention is drawn to the journey of the education sector since the creation of the state. Residents who witnessed the early years say this generation is blessed with diverse opportunities as access to education was limited back in the days. We also told you that the Northern Governance Forum has called for a decisive solution to the insecurity bedeviling the country and has reassured Nigerians, especially Northerners, who are victims of incessant attacks, of a speedy security overall. Also, from the foreign scene, we informed you that a limited number of Palestinians have been allowed to return to Gaza amid stringent screening and prolonged delays. That's it on the news at 7 tonight. We thank you for being a part of it. Good evening.
Go.